Do you want to save $1,000 or more on kettlebells? This video will show you how. Kettlebells are pretty popular pieces of equipment. After all, at my gyms, we have kettlebells. But in almost all aspects, they are inferior to barbells and dumbbells. For each dollar they cost, for each square foot of space, and for the versatility of the exercises you can do, dumbbells and barbells are better. Kettlebell workouts are part of the fitness marketing thing that is all towards the entertainment side of things without focusing on the pure result of what you're trying to do when you exercise. Yes, they're cute, they come in non-intimidating cool colors, and they have nice cute shapes. And yes, any piece of equipment that helps a person start an exercise habit has benefits. So I will tolerate kettlebells, but you will not see anyone with a super high level of physique or strength or speed or power development that uses kettlebells as their main source of training resistance. Comment below, do you use kettlebells a lot in your training? Think about kettlebells for a while. Think about the history of kettlebells. They actually were made earlier than dumbbells and barbells. And because they're easy to make, right? It's a ball and you weld a handle onto it, that's it. And now a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by my team and I at Genesis Gym Singapore, where you can get some of the finest personal training available either in one of our gyms or online. Check out the links below to find out more. Dumbbells have a fragile joint that needs to be properly made. Bad dumbbells break off at the heads. I know, right? When I first started gyms, I had no choice, I had no money, I bought cheap dumbbells, and that's where they break. That weld has to be really good, and you only have one of them, so it's harder to make that weld good than it is to make a double weld with a kettlebell. And barbells. Good barbells have moving parts inside that need high quality bearings. Barbells also are long, and the steel needs to be able to resist the bending forces of heavy plates, and then it needs to rebound back into a perfectly straight bar. That takes high quality steel, and the moving parts need high quality bearings. So kettlebells are actually old technology that fitness marketing has hyped up, that it says, oh, this is some cool tool that's going to give you amazing results. But actually, people with the best results aren't using that many kettlebells. Maybe as a once in a while alternative to avoid boredom, or maybe for some unique supplementary exercises, but majority of the time, it's not kettlebells. Think about the exercises that people do with kettlebells. They do presses. Now presses are better done with barbells and dumbbells. Almost always, dumbbells and barbells are adjusted in smaller weight increments. Dumbbells can go as little as between 1 and 2 kilos between weights. So when you progress, you're going in small increments, which is the way to progress. Barbells, you can add small plates, which also allows you to progress in a very incremental way. But kettlebells usually go in 4 kilo jumps. Now imagine going from a 8 kilo to a 12 kilo kettlebell. That's a gigantic jump. That's a 50% increase. Now that's not going to give you that incremental type of progress that's best for your results. Also, when you press a kettlebell, the kettlebell is resting on your wrist. For some people, that's not very comfortable. So for deadlifts, yes, you can do sumo stance or wide stance deadlifts with kettlebells, but you can do those with barbells too, and you can also do close stance. A close stance deadlift with a kettlebell, it's big and round. It pushes that weight further forward, and that tips you forward and also puts the weight further from your center of gravity, and that's an increased risk to your lower back. So a kettlebell only allows you to do wide stance, but a barbell you can do wide or narrow stance, and with different types of barbells you can do even more varieties of deadlifts. So there's no advantage to having a kettlebell when doing deadlifts. And again, the principle of small increments also holds true here. You can't load a deadlift with small increments with a kettlebell. What about Olympic lifts and Olympic lift variations? These are great for power development. And this is one of the things that people who are too into the kettlebell fad will tell you is one of the best things about kettlebells. Okay, Olympic lifts are meant to improve your strength and power. In sports science, this is called strength speed, where you use a moderately heavy weight, but you try to move it really fast. Okay? So, to get this benefit of strength speed from Olympic lifts, an intermediate or higher male would need to use more than his body weight to give a challenge to his hips and lower back. Okay? So let's say I'm 80 kg, I'd be doing Olympic lifts with definitely more than 80 kg. But what's the heaviest kettlebell you've seen? For most people, it's 20 something, maybe 30 something kilos. That kettlebell is nothing for a male who is fairly strong. It's not even something heavy for a female with lifting experience. So that weight is not enough to challenge the hips and back of an athlete. So the kettlebells that can be cleaned or snatched with pretty good technique by most people are actually too light to consider it a strength speed exercise. Also, the kettlebell handle does not rotate. All the strain is put on your wrist, especially if you're not very good at the exercise. But if you use a barbell, which is what Olympic lifts should be using, the barbell rotates. So even if the weight is 200 kilos like a world-class lifter will be lifting, his wrists are not taking the strain because the barbell is rotating. So kettlebells for Olympic lifts, not challenging enough in many cases, and also the risk to benefit ratio is not as good. However, there is one movement with kettlebells that in my opinion is the savior of kettlebells, and it's the only movement I personally do with kettlebells, and that is the kettlebell swing. The kettlebell swing is a great exercise because it forces you to extend your hips fully. To pop the kettlebell forward and up into the weightless feeling actually requires explosive, forceful contraction of the hamstrings, the buttock and the lower back. This is exactly like the benefit you get from doing Olympic lifts properly. And the kettlebell swing is much easier to teach than good Olympic lifts. So I like the kettlebell swing a lot. But we're back to the same problem. To get a good weight for kettlebell swing, you won't find a sufficiently heavy kettlebell in most gyms. For myself, I need about a 60 to 80 kilo kettlebell. And even in my gyms, the heaviest kettlebell is 36 kilos. So it's not enough. I was actually inspired by some other YouTube channels to make my own homemade kettlebell handle. In Singapore where I live, it's quite difficult to find the parts. Most of these other guys, they suggest using different types of piping to form the kettlebell handle and the adjustable part. So I couldn't find it actually, and even if I could, it'd probably be much more expensive than in something like Home Depot in America. So I went searching around for all the little bits and pieces in my home gym, and I came up with this, and it's pretty good. I went to swing 65 kilos for 10 reps, no problem. The weight felt good, the handles felt good, and this combination of little bits and pieces actually is a great way to get a heavy enough kettlebell for advanced people. But also, it's adjustable. You can start with as little as a tiny plate. You can start with 2 or 3 kilo kettlebell for a new person. And this kettlebell is comfortable to swing, easy to grip, adjustable, does not require home improvement kind of skills or home improvement type of water pipe parts. You can buy the parts and it's much cheaper. The total cost of the parts is around, let's say, 50 or 60 US dollars in total, but it will last you a long time, probably forever, and they're sturdy enough to hold the weight and be strong to put on, like I said, at least 60 to 80 kilos with no problem. So anything less than that, it's even more safe. And here's where you save money. Even if you could buy a set of kettlebells from 4 kg to 80 kg, you would spend thousands of dollars. The set from 4 kg to something like 30 kg is almost $1,000 already. And the bigger the kettlebells get, the more expensive they become. So I suspect if you really got a custom set or some company made sets of kettlebells up to 60 or 80 kg, it would be at least 2 or 3,000 US dollars. So today, here's how to save you thousands of dollars and have a great adjustable kettlebell that works even if you're a beginner or even if you're an advanced athlete. The key to all of this is this. It's made by this company called Spud. Okay, they make lifting equipment. But what it has, it's got a ring. And this ring is bigger than the center hole of normal barbell plates. So you put this at the bottom. Now, what else it has? It has a hook here. So when you have plates, you can hook a handle here and grip it. So this length is the 12-inch version. Okay? You want to get the 12-inch version. The 18-inch is a bit long. So the 12-inch is fine. It works for people who are regular height. So I'm 5'8", which is like 173 cm. So this is just nice for me. I actually prefer it a bit shorter. I'll show you what to do later. Alright, so if you're a shorter person or you prefer it shorter, you can do that. Shorter is good if you feel more control in the swing. But I would say this is just long enough for a 5'8" person. If you're taller than 5'8", you don't need to make any adjustments. This will work just fine. So next, if you're not so tall, what you want is 2 little short straps like these. I got these from one of my chin-up bar attachments. Okay, I'm sure one strap is plenty if you're not going to use a very heavy weight. So if you're going to use up to, let's say, 15, 20 kilos, one strap's probably fine. but I was going for 60 plus, so I put two straps just to be safe. Okay, you double them up, put them through the hole, and now when you clip your handle here, you have a short attachment. So it raises the weights up, so even if you're shorter, this is fine. Okay, I actually prefer this height more. So next, you load in your plate, right? You got your plate, you load it in. This is a 2.5 kilo plate. You could use a 10 kilo, 20 kilo, it doesn't matter. Any normal plate will fit. The handles that I used that were the best were these. These are called Angles 90. You can get the original one, or you can get, you know, the OEM one. I don't get any money from these. You can buy whatever you like. I think they're the same. I've got a pair of each. Right? The original ones and the third-party ones seem to be pretty similar. After all, I mean, this kind of technology is going to be copied, right? It's not complicated at all. So anyway, get a set of these. These are also about $20 US. So that's where our budget goes. Some to this and some to this. Okay, a pair of these. Now you put these in. So if you're short, like me, you connect them to the short end. And now what you have is a set of handles for your kettlebell. When you're doing kettlebell swings, you want the weight to be loaded onto your hips and onto your buttocks. Alright, so that's where the tension should be. What's in your hands, as long as it's comfortable to grip, that should be fine. The final thing to add to this whole setup is lifting straps. Okay, the reason I do that is because over here I'm doing it outside, it's very hot, my hands get sweaty, I don't have gigantic hands, and I don't want to worry about my grip. Yes, we should train our grip, yes, we should have a strong grip, but grip training is a separate thing. In this exercise, I want my hips to be focusing on exploding and contracting really hard to pop the weight up. So I use wrist straps, I put them on, and I wrap them through the Angles 90 grip. And so right now what I have is a really strong grip, a really comfortable handle, and the ability to use really heavy weights for the only exercise that I do with kettlebells, kettlebell swings. If you decide to go the short person route with these short straps, this thing will be dangling out. You could loop it into here, alright? Or if you have big plates, actually they'll just be stuck between the plates. It won't do anything. There'll be no problem at all. Okay, so that's if you're going to use the short straps. Okay, there we have it. A simple way to use commercially available small pieces of gym equipment that costs altogether about $50 to $60 US. And you can build a kettlebell that adjusts to your ability all the way from beginner all the way to advanced athlete. So this is how you get to do kettlebell swings with enough weight to get explosive power in your hips. Hope you found this video useful. For more science-based tips to improve your strength and fitness and athletic performance, please subscribe to my channel.